Sometimes the universe gives you gifts, like when I found this in a Kalamazoo record store. I thought, this is crazy and fantastic. Little did I know that FrankSoda was 1 degree of Kevin Bacon between two of my all-time favorite Canadian artists. First off, Frank isn't technically Canadian. Francisco Soda was born in Calabria, Italy, and moved to British Columbia when he was 5. That was in 1957. This record came out in 1981. So we're going to skip the years of the British invasion influence and the various popular high school bands that Frank was part of and get to the part where Frank leaves his longtime touring partners, John LeSueur and Charles Towers of the Imps, to put out his solo record, Saturday Night Getaway. But we may have to redefine the word solo because more than half of the songs on this record, Frank performed with his old band, the Imps. Saturday Night Getaway was really about trying to capture the live energy in a studio record. And it wasn't easy because when it came to live shows, FrankSoda was ahead of his time. Frank had been going to stage extremes since his early Imp days, around 1973. Glam makeup, theatrical outfits of sequins and mirror beads, jumping around, synchronized dance moves, explosives, and he really liked explosives. And I'm going to call it explosives and not pyrotechnics because while it was impressive, it wasn't pyrotechnics. It was too early for that, but it was still a little nuts. Stage explosives have been used since the late 19th century, usually in magic and burlesque shows. Flash paper, and you can produce a card out of nowhere. Flash pot, and you can drop your dress to reveal the unrevealable. It diverted the attention by making the eyes go to something else, away from the coin in your pocket, away from you undoing your corset. In rock, fire-ish stuff probably started with Screaming Jay Hawkins. His 1956 song, I Put a Spell on You, would find him emerging from a coffin, something he absolutely hated, and then incorporating white music guy ideas of voodoo symbolism, like a smoking skull on a stick. In the late 50s and early 60s, Jerry Lee Lewis used flash paper at the end of his song Great Balls of Fire, but contrary to popular music lore, he never set his piano on fire. And if you'd like to know more about that, go to bandsofthelost.com, and I have a really well-researched link there. Pink Floyd would use colored smoke for live Careful with That Axe, Eugene. Black Sabbath used flash pots in pre-Dio Ozzy days. And of course, Keith Moon famously got cymbal shrapnel embedded in his arm at the end of The Who's 1967 appearance on the Smothers Brothers. Colorful, elaborately synchronized pyrotechnics were first used by Kiss, and Neil Bogart wouldn't have had that any other way. The president of Casablanca would walk around the halls with flash paper in his pockets and then go, "Kiss magic," whenever the cocaine fairy told him to. But some of the craziest stuff I saw while researching this was from Rammstein. Surprisingly, no one has ever died at any of their shows. But in 1996, there was an accident that caused 5 people to go to the hospital. And it was only after that Rammstein hired professional pyrotechnicians, and singer Till Lindemann became a certified pyrotechnics expert, just in case. FrankSoda shows didn't have professional fire experts. He had ideas and songs and headgear. Frank would wear a TV on his head during the song TV People, and then blow it up, and he was still wearing it. He wore a smoking pig hat during the song High Time. He wore a large working camera with a flash bulb during the song Take My Picture Please. Then he also wore a flame shooting amplifier for something else. It was at the Gasworks in Toronto, though, that Frank wore a big Moon Man head for the song Moon Man with glowing red eyeballs. And it was supposed, it was shaped kind of like a glass Christmas tree ornament, and it was supposed to have flames like shooting out of the top of it. But as Frank was performing, some of the powder went inside of the head. So when the explosion went off, it went off inside of the Moon Man head too. And Frank ripped off the head, but by that time it had burned splotches of his of his hair and his eyebrows never grew back. It could have been so much worse. He wound up shaving his head and his bandmates shaved theirs in solidarity. The event inspired the song Skin Graph on side 1 of Saturday Night Getaway. It has sort of a David Bowie Fame beginning riff to it and this amazing line, "When you're kissing my face, you're kissing my ass." The song that caused the ruckus, Moon Man, is one of the 4 songs on this record that Frank played with the Imps. And his exceptional guitar work is on full display here, as it is in all of these songs. He is really a great guitar player. His precision makes everything sound super clean, but it doesn't take any of the fun out of it. I mean, he's really made me a fan, and I want to see or hear more stuff that he's on, quite honestly. Anyway, when I was listening to this with headphones, I was able to just imagine how great of a song this must have been live. I mean, not Frank's head bursting into flames, but all the other really good parts that make supporting live music an exceptional thing to do. Break the Ice is one of my favorites. Saturday Night Getaway as an opening track is one of the best of the era, Fight Me. And Drunk and Disorderly are all high energy songs that show off Frank's talents. Side 1 doesn't ever really come down. Side 2 has a couple of covers. Come On Up is the 1967 song by the Rascals, and Felix Cavallari, the rascal that wrote it, is actually playing keyboards on Frank's version. It's slowed down a bit, almost to an Allman Brothers feel, and it's a really good version, far different from the fuzz guitar original. Born to Be Wild is the other riskier choice, and musically, he does nail it, and it's just my opinion, I think if you're going to cover an evergreen, the caliber of Born to Be Wild, you got to kill it in a really memorable way. Anything else is just us listening to you guys play your favorite song. Shoot to Kill, the last song on the record, is a brush with a rock ballad, so okay, it's a good one. The record really has some very good songs on it, and this was an excellent find. Are some of the songs silly? Abso-fucking-lutely. But he's writing the jokes, so it's up to you if you want to go along with it. The record was produced by Michael Tilka. He played bass for Max Webster. Right? Not on Universal Juveniles, not on A Million Vacations, but he was on the first 3 Max frickin' Webster albums, which to me is very Canadian amazing. The other artist that FrankSoda is connected to, the other member of this great Canadian rock trinity, is the man, the one, the only, the rock warrior himself, Thor, which is now going to be my next video because now we have to talk about Thor. Saturday Night Getaway is probably easier to find in the wild the more north you get. It is on Discogs. I have a link to it on my website, bandsofthelost.com, along with other weirdness. If you'd like to hear about other records you may or may not have known about back in the day, feel free to subscribe to the Bands of the Lost YouTube channel or check us out at bandsofthelost.com. Happy digging. The president of Casablanca would walk around with flash paper in his pocket and then go, ah! The president of Casablanca would walk around with flash paper in his pocket and then go, kiss magic.